call me Mommy. My name is Lynn Petronella. I'll be your host. I'm a former Olympic marathon pioneer, author, speaker, spokesmodel, and raised millions of dollars for the Women's Sports Foundation and the United States Olympic Committee. I was one of the first women to run the Boston Marathon in a sub 3-hour time way back in 1978. That event would have garnered me an Olympic gold medal as a male in 4 Olympics, but at that time, women were not allowed to participate in the Olympic marathon. And so I had a very unusual experience at 22, and I went on to help create the events for the 10,000, 5,000 meter and marathon for women, real women athletes, and help get the women's marathon into the Olympics for an American woman to win that event. And as a result of that, I came upon some very interesting people in my quest, and I learned a lot about what it meant to be a female. Phe in chemistry is iron, and obviously male is male. So I thought it was interesting that women are named female because we have to be pretty tough in this life. A, to give birth, and B, to raise our children, both male and female. On this beautiful 4th of July holiday, since I am a native New Yorker, I grew up in Manhasset on Long Island. All of my family was from New York. And I wanted to celebrate the Statue of Liberty, who to me is the great beacon of hope. It happens to be a female. I kind of consider her the mother of the country, since we're talking about mothers. And it has a great sense of significance today on this 4th of July holiday because to me, she represents freedom and justice for all of us. She's a guiding light. And I wrote this poem, which I'd like to share with you on the 4th of July today, to honor our freedom, to honor the Statue of Liberty, the mother of all of us, and to let freedom ring, hope our country tries to get back into a more united state, and share the goodness of what I believe she stands for and what I believe America to be. So if you will indulge me, after 9/11, I happened to write this because 50 people from my hometown on Long Island were killed. Many of them worked at Cantor Fitzgerald. And it was a very dark time for New York and for this country. And I wrote this poem as a result of that, and I would like to share it with you today on the 4th of July. I call it The Lady in the Night. She stands all alone in the darkness of night, through rain, wind, and snow, a remarkable sight. On a river that separates city from nation, a statuesque queen, a European creation. A crown on her head with a torch golden bright, giving strangers from each nation new hope and delight. She stands for the freedom, truth, promise, and more of America the beautiful. She's the opening door. The tattered and torn have all called on her name, traveled thousands of miles before her they came, each with their vision and dream to fulfill, each with persistence and a God-given will. She's watched as they came in day and in night, in peace and in wartime. What a magnificent sight. She's protected the shores of each native and more, given hope to the stranger and help to the poor. She's been the mother, the queen, the woman of all, standing stately and beautiful. Her watch is God's call. It's a woman, you see, God has put in this place to stamp out despair with love and hope to replace. A woman, a mother, sent to protect each and every one. The young and the old, a song of freedom to be sung. America, the beautiful, the strong, and the brave. Despite guns, bombs, and destruction, our lives she must save. A sister, a mother, a grandmother, and more. The person to keep us safe inside freedom's door. She stands like the lioness in front of her cave, protecting her cubs. Their lives she must save. With the years and upheavals of presidents and kings, she holds to our dreams and lets freedom ring. It rings louder and louder with each blow we take, each bomb that bursts, each life that's at stake. Without saying a word, she lets the world know we are Americans, the free, the proud, and the bold. Despite the fact we are mortal man, she gives us grace to fight demons again and again. She holds her head high with dignity and grace, never sleeps on her watch of this magnificent place. But she worries, as all good mothers do, that we have not done our part to keep the peace too. She sees the sins of the hearts of women and men and lights that torch in the night to guide us again. She wants us to return to a country of peace, of unity and love. Brotherly strife must cease. She wants to remind us that freedom has a cost, that we must be united together or all will be lost. So we must cling to the hem of her robe in this life as she keeps our way lit through the darkest of night. For she will not let us lose sight of what was meant to be. That's why we call her Lady Liberty. Again, I wrote that, and I was inspired as a native New Yorker after 9/11, because we were very united as a country as a result of that event. And I hope that on this 4th of July, as we move into the 250th anniversary of the United States, we can learn to get along better and be proud to be Americans. We are not a perfect country, but we are a nation that was started with a lot of grit, determination, and a lot of bloodshed. And on this day, we were able to detach ourselves from a nation that wanted to control our freedom. And I know that freedom means many different things to every American. I also think that in this year of 2025, it would be nice, even if we have freedom, to learn how to use our voices in a way that's hopefully more constructive, hopefully more uplifting, and hopefully beneficial. Tearing each other down and trying to one-up people in a way that is unhealthy, I think can become counterproductive to the elevation of our culture. I think spiritually and emotionally, we may have a way to go. But, we have a country that has withstood a lot of different things. And I think we need to be a little bit more optimistic. I think when I grew up, a nation was full of optimism. I come from the baby boom generation. People had many children in that day and age. And I think that's why I chose to call this podcast Call Me Mommy, because, my mother had 5 children within 3.5 years, and many of the women in our neighborhood had 6, 7, and 9. We were raised Catholic. People were home on Sundays. Stores were closed. Everyone went to church. Families did not get divorced. It was a different world. Mothers were home with their children, raising them. That was the world I grew up in. And it was a normal state of being to be home with your family and enjoy your family. And I think the one good thing about COVID, I will have to say, is people had a chance to be home having real human connection. And I think without real human connection, we disengage and we don't really understand each other in a manner that is productive. That's my personal opinion. At some point, I want to share a lot of different things with you, but today I'm going to share the word mother. And I kind of find it interesting. The word mother, pretty much universally around the world, is the word for mother is pretty much universally said as mother, mom. It's pretty much the same here and everywhere around the world. And to become a mother is a tremendous psychological, physical, and emotional change for a woman. And because we don't do a lot of education, I would say, on this subject, I hope that this podcast will get into some of the things that I have learned along the way about motherhood. One is when you're born a girl, a real girl, your instinct, and I would say mine was, to copy your mother. You identify as a female. You identify with your mother. Boys identify as a male, and they identify with their father. I mean, I had 3 brothers. They identify with my dad. They watch what you do, and they copy it. You understand being female means being a caretaker, being loving, being there. It's something you adopt intrinsically. I think it's in your DNA. I think even if you did not want to be that way, I think it's the way you're made. Because as a female, you will at one day become a mother, or you are expected to become a mother. And being a mother requires a sense of intensity, a sense of strength and persistence, and a sense of spirituality that seems to somewhat be lost, I would say, in the way we view motherhood, in the way we view giving birth. I'm glad to see the country is coming back to a more spiritual center, because marriage was meant for having families if you choose. If you choose not to, that's also your choice. But bringing a child into the world is a big responsibility and a great gift and a great responsibility. And I wanted to also share the event that is actual childbirth, and how over the course of centuries we have changed the way in which women give birth. Not always for the better, I might add. Not always for the better. And I hope that we'll touch on some of these subjects and educate women. I mean, for hundreds and thousands of years, women didn't have doctors. They went off and had their babies, and whatever happened, happened. Traditional medicine now has changed the length of childbirth by inducing birth, and oftentimes by having C-sections, which I would say sometimes are justifiable and oftentimes are not, because people are in a hurry, they're on a time schedule. And as much as I think, it's great that women have jobs and work, I personally did not have time or the right partner to have a child with. And because I knew that if I had a child, I would want to be home and raise my baby. I grew up as the 70s were upon us and everybody was expected to go to work. And going to work in the 70s, I was like the only woman there, or one of the only women in my office. I happened to be in Colorado. I had a journalism degree, and I was hired out of college because I had a high degree and I was good at my job. But I was in uncharted territory, and it was very difficult for people to understand what to do with me, even though I was smart. So I loved my job. I was grateful for the position. And I worked at an agency in Denver on Larimer Square. I don't know if anybody knows Denver. After I graduated University of Colorado on a scholarship in journalism. And my professor happened to be my boss. He hired me straight out of school. And while I was there, I got him the largest account. The company had been in business for over 25 years. I got them the largest account they'd ever had in the history of the company out of Washington, D.C. I landed them. It was a PR agency. I landed him the sugar industry. I don't know how I did this. I can't even remember now. And everybody was so excited. And at that time, I was a newlywed. And at that time, I was told by my then boss, well, we're not really going to give you, we'll give you a little bonus, but we're not going to give you a raise because you're going to have a baby and you're going to leave us and that's going to cost us money. And I was devastated because I had worked so hard. So I was put in this very awkward position. I just got married. I just landed this amazing job. Now what am I going to do? And then I came to find out that my then husband didn't want to have children with me and was having an affair at work. So all of these things combined created a perfect storm for me to go out on my own. And on the 4th of July, begin running. And I ended up in a race in Colorado in Aspen. And my photo was taken. And suddenly I was in Newsweek magazine. And 3 months later, I was hired by Pepsi to be a national spokesperson for a program that I was to head at 22, a 300 race, 10K program called Run America Run. And everything was red, white, and blue, and I was the head person for Run America Run. It's very exciting. It was also very painful. I won't sugarcoat. It was painful, but I took the pain of that. I threw my life into running. I ended up in Boulder, Colorado, where the Olympic champion Frank Shorter was training. And I got a job with these people. And it was just surreal. And was able to run the Boston Marathon in under 3 hours, which started my quest and which also made me think about what women do every day on this planet. A marathon to me is a warm-up for what women really do, and that is give birth. And I thought, well, if they can give gold medals for marathons, maybe I should make one for women, which I did. So on this day, I just want to share my philosophy. I think every child is royal. Every child comes with a unique mission. I think we need to treat each other with a little bit more dignity and respect. I think having a child is a big decision. I don't think it should be an expectation. I think we need, as a culture, to understand what we're doing to our women. I do think infant mortality rate in this country is high. I think a lot of people don't have maybe as good a medical care or aren't taking as good a care of themselves prior to getting pregnant. But I also think being pregnant in America is an expensive undertaking. We have a very expensive culture. I think it would be nice if you had health care, you had a home, and you had a job, and you had a husband. That's how I was raised, but you know, the world has changed. So as a caveat to today, on the 4th of July, I wish your American dreams are fulfilled. And you can call me Mommy. Happy 4th of July, America.